all of you taking out the time of your busy schedule and joining us here today for the first edition of Blink Presents Digital Disruption. So the idea behind this was that there are a lot of events going on in the industry, various industries, but we never really see restaurant-focused events, restaurants being the backbone of the economy, the F&B sector, creating so many jobs and adding value for so many people's lives. This is the first episode. We'll be discussing innovative marketing for restaurants. And inshallah, we plan to doing repeat events like this. Maybe we talk about operations, maybe we talk about supply chain and other different departments. So I'll just quickly take you through the agenda of today. We'll be starting very shortly with a brief recitation from the holy verse, from the verses of the Holy Quran, followed by expert panel. We have some wonderful and well-experienced panelists who will be sharing their experiences, their wisdom, and how they have helped brands grow over the last decade. Then we'll have a Q&A. All the audience members, we've got like 30 to 40 brands being represented in our audience. We'll have a Q&A session, and we'll be opening the floor for networking, along with high tea and some delicious snacks. So we're looking forward to a very exciting event. And I'd like to request on the stage Mr. Hassan Agha, who is a sales development representative at Blink, and he is our in-house resident Hafiz. So Hassan will be reciting verses from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم ومن يدع مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربي إنه لا يفلح الكافرون وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين صدق الله العظيم.
I'd like to request the panelists to take the stage. The panel is being moderated by Ms. Neha Arif, who leads marketing at Blink. So everything you see around you, the branding, all the communication on social media, all the email spams that we get are from Neha. She is the person behind everything marketing at Blink. She is also a part-time podcast host. So do check her podcasts out. So without any further ado, it's time to get things rolling, and I'll hand the mic over to Neha.
So before we start off, I just wanted to give a warm thank you to all of you for being here. So the reason why we chose these four individuals was because they have a diverse background in the restaurant industry. They come from some multinational brands, and then some of them are local brands that have grown to an enormous scale in Pakistan. So they have different experiences, different knowledge, skill sets that we hope that they will be able to share with everybody in the audience. So we have Faiza, who is ex-GM marketing of Nando's. She's been working there for more than a decade. She has worked there for more than a decade, and Nando's is known for its marketing and their global marketing forte. So we feel that she would be a really good addition to our panel and the discussion. Khizer is the CEO and owner of BurgerLab. He started BurgerLab with one outlet, and now it has 30, 40 plus outlets all over Pakistan. So just to see how growing a local name within Pakistan, he has a lot to share with us. Shahbaz from Broadway Pizza also has a similar story. He's the CEO as well as owner of Broadway Pizza, and again, starting a brand from the ground up and scaling it to large scale. And Sana is the national digital brand manager at KFC. And KFC being one of the largest, restaurants in Pakistan and all over the world, highest number of footfall in the store, and they have amazing marketing strategies. So she has a lot to share with us, and especially considering she also has experience in not just restaurant and F&B space, but also in different other industries. So we feel like your knowledge will definitely help us and the audience, understand more about innovative marketing in restaurants. So I'd just like to start off with a question for Faiza. Faiza, so since you're a seasoned veteran restaurant professional, you've been in the industry for, again, more than a decade. You have a lot of experience. So how would you say marketing has changed for restaurants over the last, several years? And, how was it when you joined the industry, and how do you see it as it is now?
Sure. Thank you, first of all, Neha and the Blink team for the opportunity. It's a privilege to be sitting here with the industry greats, and hopefully this is going to be a fruitful and conducive session. You make me sound really prehistoric saying that I've been around for a very long time, but yes, I have been around for many moons. And around your question around how it was before and how it is now, I think things were very different back in the day, if you can call it back in the day. 10 years ago, obviously, the social media boom, the internet usage, penetration, all of these things were something that were just sprucing up, right? And 10 years down the road, when now we see that internet penetration and smartphone accesses and platforms and all of these things are so rampant in our daily lives and with our customers as well. If I'm not wrong, 87.3 million people have internet connections across Pakistan, and that's like 36% of our overall population, which is huge. 10 years ago, this figure was very, very, very small. And at that point in time, Facebook was just something that was just coming up, right? Meta was just very, very in its rudimentary stages, and at least in Pakistan. So marketers had very less choice with respect to choosing different platforms, seeing what works, what doesn't work. The kind of choice that we have now in terms of social media and the platforms and internet accessibility and how accessible it is to get to the customers, that accessibility was not there. So we had very few, let's say, vehicles or modes of communication that we would pick and choose, and they would be largely based on, a lot of it would not be data centric. It would not be backed with analytics. You wouldn't know the metrics of it. So you couldn't gauge also your efforts. So you had your out of home, and you had print was very big at that point in time. But then when it came down to really measuring what you did, that was something that was very difficult. So I would say that it was simpler to execute at that point in time, but it was very difficult to measure. At this point in time, it's difficult to execute because there's so much competition, there's so much noise, and it's very difficult to break through the clutter. But I think it's simpler now to gauge the results if you're using the right strategies. So I feel, that's how I see it. And that's what I feel that, back then and now, these are some of the differences that now hope.
Hello.
You can use this.
Hello. Yes. So, for sure, I feel like now that we have entered, we are well into the digital era. So definitely, there's a lot more channels that brands can use now. But my next question would be for both Shahbaz and Khizer. It would be that you.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I think they can hear you.
Yeah. So my question would be that you guys also started your own brand yourselves, and you had a lot of control that you sort of put into marketing and also growing your brand. So how has the evolution been for your specific brands, and what learnings have you seen throughout these years now that you have like 40, 50 plus outlets all over Pakistan? So how has the evolution of marketing been for both of you?
Should I speak first?
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I think, can you guys hear me? Back in 2012 when I graduated from CPM, I only knew that, I only had knowledge about digital marketing. So that was something that I had, and I decided this is something through which we can build a brand. So when we started off with BurgerLab, paise to the nahi. So social media was the cheapest option. So it played the key role, especially Facebook marketing played the key role in developing the brand and letting people know about BurgerLab. And in those days, the engagement and जो खुद शेयर हो जाती थी पिक्चर्स और पोस्ट, वो सब खुद होता था. So we didn't really had to invest a lot in the ads. So that it really played the key role in developing BurgerLab. So without marketing, you cannot build a brand. That's for sure.
So thank you for inviting me. I'm not part of Blink actually. Yeah, like our company is not part of Blink, but still, thank you for inviting us. First of all, like if you talk about our brand, it's been like 10 years, a decade-old brand now. We started in 2013. Okay, so if you talk about that time, actually all the big brands right now, the chain stores, the local stores, most of them, majority of them, actually started their growth journey or started their journey from that time, like after 2010 actually, I can say. Like there are lots of brands, numerous brands you can see, the local ones. Actually, I can say like, especially the ones, like the target market increased a lot after 2010s, like especially the young audience, like after the 90s, the people who were born after the 90s. They actually saw the international chains like McDonald's, KFC and stuff. Like my, you can say when I was a child, I only used to see all these brands. But after 2010, all the local brands started to, boom up and started to grow. There were a lot of startups. And yeah, so if you talk about marketing perspective, like if I remind myself, it was more of like we used to emphasize more on the print media as well. Like for example, if you remember Daily Times, there was a magazine of Daily Times, we used to put ads on that. Or Home Express, if you remember, like it was very popular during that time. Even the flyer distribution stuff, that was very common. That time it was very, very common. People used to put the flyers on the newspapers and stuff, especially for the smaller brands. Everyone cannot afford to put a big ad on the newspaper. That time people used to read newspaper a lot then, for example, compared to now. Like everyone reads the news on the phone right now. So yeah.
Can you guys all hear him?
Yeah, because
The mic is not working.
yeah, and secondly, SMS marketing used to be a big thing that time, and it's still there. It's becoming more and more expensive nowadays, but yeah.
Push notifications are a better option these days.
Now,
So
yeah.
I'm the customer of Blink right now, and it has really helped me in converting those SMS customers into the push notifications. So I think having an app right now and having all the customers directed towards the app can really help you out in saving a lot of money and directly targeting those customers through Facebook marketing as well and Instagram.
Yeah, and one more thing. Like before, I think that there are few things that Hello.
It's okay. I think we can talk without the mics. I think the reason we are here to learn something from each other. So I think keep it casual.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
We
fine.
have to be so formal.
Okay, so I still remember, when we started our brand, we used to put a lot of steamers with the four steamers. I think that is one of the things which really gives you immediate response. It's a very short-term thing, but yeah, if you can bring up new customers and you can retain them, that's a win-win, you know. So we used to do that as well. It's still common here, like people still do it. It's expensive, but yeah, it's very effective. It's still effective. I think we still do it normally.
I think Shahbaz, what they exactly want to know is how BurgerLab and Broadway grew from one outlet to 35 and 55.
So you wanted the journey?
Yeah, that is what I think.
The journey will be very big. I have to write the whole
I
story book for that.
we'll have a separate panel for the journey, but right now if you could just summarize like how was marketing when you had one or two outlets?
Yeah, that's what I was telling.
Yeah, so
That's what I was
now,
telling, yeah.
And now that you have like 50
Yeah.
outlets, so now what difference
So,
do
you know, the main thing is that, like, even the consumer dynamics have changed as well. You can see, compared from that time to now, you know, everyone is on the phone. Like, every average, like, if we talk about the brands, like, most of the brands, I think, here are, like, fast casual. There are no dine-in restaurants here, right?
Yeah.
So the target audience is around 15 to 35, 40, that's the main. And most of them, like now, the average time of this audience, of the phone, average time is around 4.5 hours, even 5. So like you spend around 25% of your day only on your phone, you know. I think that's the biggest tool for us as a brand to, you know, exploit you. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we are doing that actually. We are exploiting that thing.
Right, so digital is very big.
It has become very big, and I think that's the future as well.
I think for BurgerLab, digital was the main thing.
Even before as well. Like yeah, for example, if you remember, there is a page like we are most of them are from Karachi, right? There were few pages like SWAT and stuff.
Yeah.
It used to be a very big thing that time. You know, people used to really
Yeah.
follow that. Not anymore. I think it's more. It has become more of an advertisement page now, like with fake reviews, paid reviews and stuff. But back that time, it was different. You know, people used to write genuine reviews.
It is something that I learned back in those days. जितने बुरे reviews आते हैं, उतना वो brand अच्छा perform कर रहा होता है actually. That's what I have learned.
Sales अच्छी हो रही थी, कंप्लेन बढ़ जाती थी.
Sales अच्छी हो रही होती है उसका मतलब.
Yeah.
So I think now that like we've sort of covered how the journey has been, and now that digital is at the forefront for everyone, I feel like Sana would be able to give a very good insight into how digital is very important now, especially considering you have different experience in different industries as well. So I would just like you to sort of let us know how is marketing, digital marketing different when it comes to the restaurant industry versus like other industries that you've worked for.
Thank you so much for having me on the panel. So yeah, food industry is definitely very fast-paced and very challenging. If I was given an example of a beauty product from an FMCG brand, even if I purchase it and I don't like it, I can always choose to not buy it the next time or maybe get it exchanged or something along those lines. But food is very real time. It's now you want it at the moment, and you want, if something's wrong with your product, you want to get it rectified then and there. And it's really, I think social media has given a lot of power to the consumer. So they have all the right to actually destroy your brand within seconds.
Yeah.
And you know, no matter how well a brand is doing in terms of sales, but one post or one bad review for the customer, it really does shake things up. So it's definitely food industry is somewhat closer to the telco industry, because I think it's the same kind of aggression when it comes to marketing and advertising and the demand for it. But I think compared to, there's no comparison in terms of the beauty category and all of that, because it's a totally different ball game. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is essentially that the main difference between, restaurant industry and any other industry is the fact that the consumer behaviors are so
Yes.
different. And because of that, brands need to really be on their toes and keep their eyes out and try their best to make sure that their customers are satisfied, which is where I think customer satisfaction comes from.
And I think with food, we're so passionate about food Pakistani. So I think वैसे ही सबका बहुत ज़्यादा trigger हो जाता है guys.
I completely agree with that. So when we talked about digital, we talked about digital marketing. So one of the biggest issues that I feel that is happening in especially the restaurant industry is the fact that there's not a lot of customer data that brands have access to, right? So if your customer goes to the store and buys something from your branch, right, you may not know who that customer is, what they bought, what type of account, what their other behaviors are. And this is something that we've been seeing that, POS systems, legacy POS systems, they don't give you that sort of customer data. If you're on a food aggregator app, you don't get that much customer data. So how do you think, what I'm trying to say is, how can restaurants sort of ensure that they get this customer data? How would they, and if they were to get that customer data, how would they use it to, retarget customers or, maybe create different campaigns? So if you had the customer data, how would you go about? Anybody can.
What we do, we ask for a feedback from most of the customers, I would say, and we are introducing a sticker, something like KFC is doing on the top of the brown bag in which we give our order. So that is one way of acquiring customer data through the dine-in and takeaway orders. And the other way is obviously through your app, through your website, through your call center. So there are so many ways through which you can acquire data. And the brands like BurgerLab, Broadway and KFC, we have a lot of data now. And even, in Facebook, there's something called a pixel. That pixel is actually an artificial intelligence which collects the data for you, and then you can retarget those customers and bring them to your app or your website and make them order again. So that's something which I've been doing for the last 3 years, and I took training from Facebook directly from Singapore, and they guided me that how we can convert those customers. So the cost per purchase for those customers is quite low. It's like something free, aapko free ka order mila, it's like that. This is what we have been doing, and there are more things we are planning to do. We are thinking of bringing a new ERP model through which we will make customers to share their feedback as much as possible. For us, their feedback is really important, and along with that, we get their data.
So I think Khizer said that we already have a lot of data in place, and for that is that we incentivize consumers to give in their feedback. So if we were to run out a review, so at the end of the review you get a 20% off or 30% off that you can claim via online ordering or at the outlet. Another way is that if you log on to our app, even as a guest user, you have to sign up through your email or your phone number. So that gives us the opportunity to send them an SMS or send them a deal regarding that. So we also run conversion and awareness campaigns, and that also helps us map the whole journey of who is our relapsing customer. And by relapsing customer, I mean customers who used to order but haven't ordered in the last 3 months or 4 months. So maybe we could run a separate deal for them and target them in that way. Also UTM parameters come into play that help us sort of identify the whole journey कि कहाँ तक आपका कस्टमर गया और कहाँ पे ड्रॉप आया है. तो उसने चेकआउट पे ड्रॉप किया, उसने आपके होम पेज पे ड्रॉप किया, सबसे ज़्यादा टाइम वो कहाँ पे लगा रहा है. सो मे बी उस तरीके से दैट इज़ हाउ द डेटा रियली हेल्प्स यू. एंड डेटा कलेक्शन, बिकॉज वी लिव इन अ एज वेयर डेटा and factual information is very important. So I think data, everything that we do and we are doing in real time is all data driven mainly.
Is your question how to collect data?
No, So how would you solve the problem of data? Plus, if you have the data, how are you using it to,
Okay, so first of all, data right now is money, you know. If you see all the social media platforms, what they are doing is they are collecting the data, right? And they're making money with that, right?
Yeah.
Same goes with us as well. There are different ways to collect the data. Like the data is collected, like the customer data is collected from the stores as well. Like for example, if they give you the feedback, they'll definitely share the email or your phone number and stuff. Or if they're ordering online, they'll log in and that stuff. And even like there are other different methods as well. For example, like we also get the student data as well. Like we do brand ambassador programs and we collect the whole customer student data. Like we have done a lot with many universities. Okay, so yeah, and with that data, there are like numerous ways to use that. You know, you can email them. Like yesterday we had a meeting and we were discussing KFC. Actually, we were saying like I had so many emails of KFC. Yeah, so you can use the data in a lot of ways. You know, like even like as Khizer was saying, the push app notification is becoming a big thing now.
Yeah.
It was not before, but it is becoming big thing now. People are downloading a lot of applications, especially the customers who are regular. They find more attractive deals and stuff. So yeah, so it has become easier as well to collect the data. And the main challenge I feel as a brand and as a customer is the data protection, especially with our apps or our platforms. Everyone is not very happy to give the whole data. They don't trust a normal app compared to, for example, they might trust Facebook. Even there are lots of different stories about them as well, but like if you compare it ours, like people do have questions. They are not everyone is happy to give their data. So this is a challenge as well, and I think it will be a challenge in the future as well, because data can be stolen. It can be used in many ways, many problematic ways as well. So yeah.
So I think Neha, your question is very relevant, and data is really, as the others also said in the panel, it's really the backbone of what marketing is nowadays and what is going to be in the future days as well. So very rightly pointed out, data is definitely money at this point in time. But I feel that as the other panelists also said, that it's easier now to collect data. So you have so many platforms available, and there's so many tools within those platforms that are available. I think lead generation tools are there. There's everybody's on pretty much 3 to 4 platforms at least. So their information is it's something that you're using from your database. If you have your own e-commerce setup, the best way is to utilize that database and to then incorporate it into your platforms. And then utilize it for different things and for different precision targeting, for retargeting, for testing different types of content, and so on and so forth. I also feel that back in the day, and even now, for restaurants particularly, no activity is a small activity. I feel, even if you're standing in a mall, or you're doing a student ambassador program in a college, or if you're, have basically different touch points, that is all leading up to, getting data and usable data. And now there's more use of it. Back in the day, there wasn't much use of it except for maybe cold calling, sending some SMSs. Now you can incorporate all of that data, create your own audiences, lookalike audiences, so on and so forth. So there's so much that is now available for you to do with that and manipulate that. So I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand even in this day and age, and we need to really go out there and protect that, and also make the others feel the significance and importance of it.
No, I feel like data is definitely very important for brands themselves, but customers are also making the best out of it.
The other way of collecting data is performance marketing. We all never knew about this term. I think
Up till about
we
2
just
years
got
back
to
or
know
so.
exactly.
COVID
And
taught
then-
us everything.
Exactly. So performance marketing is one way of collecting the data and targeting the customers again and again, and that is the most effective way of marketing for all the restaurants, I would say, especially the fast food. And even the stores, the FMCGs, they all are doing that. They're utilizing YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I think these three platforms are doing really well. I've heard about TikTok. I haven't invested much in TikTok.
Even Twitter.
I don't know much about Twitter and TikTok.
Okay, so if you talk about data, like I think the biggest example for all of us is Food Panda. What they did, like when they started off, they were actually their first and their main goal was to collect the data, the customer base, and it became so big that now they're a monopoly now. You know, they're the biggest.
Basically.
Even they are competitors actually for us as well, and they have the biggest share. So what they have done is that they have collected the data, and what they do is that now, like for as a brand, they don't even give customers data to us, even though they are customers.
Yeah.
But if they're ordering from their platform, they're not give it to us. They're not share it to us. So it's a big thing, right? That's why they're not giving. Sorry?
It's their asset now.
Yeah, exactly. It's their asset. That's their goal actually. When they started out, that was their goal. That's why they like for as restaurants, like we all know, Food Panda is charging huge commissions. So why they're charging now? They were charging very minimal before.
Yeah.
Actually, the main purpose was to collect data, and they did successfully, and now they're dominating the market.
Yeah, and because they're not sharing that data, basically,
Yeah, exactly. They're not because
safeguarding it.
as Khizer said, it's the biggest asset. Because if they like they don't give their data to the to the brands even, so that they might pull the customers directly, you know.
Yeah, so their cut gets lost.
It's like that. So
I think
data is king now. It's money.
Definitely, rightly said. Data is king, and because of like the data that brands get from their customers also do sort of get an advantage out of sharing their data. So that's where I think loyalty programs come into play, and globally loyalty is a huge thing. Sana was talking about how Starbucks has their app and like loyalty, and which makes the customer keep coming back for more. So in your brands, how have you guys used customer loyalty or tried to create customer loyalty and sort of experiment with it? So could you guys tell us more about that?
So there are two things. If you talk about how can we use that data, the brands, like one thing that is not very common in Pakistan, but it's very common internationally, like Starbucks, the rewards program. We have started that in our app. If you see, like we are not using your app, but the ones which they have developed especially for us. It's a whole, like it's a wallet, a reward program. Like you collect the points and then you get free things and stuff. The second thing is like what Food Panda used to do. Like they used to give vouchers, the e-vouchers, and so they still give it. Before that, they used to give a lot of, like they used to throw all the vouchers to the people. Everyone just take it, 500,000 rupees voucher. So that's how you use it. Like there are lots of ways to use that. Even like if you're targeting the consumer on the social media as well, you can use that data and target that. So yeah.
What exactly we do in order to retain our customers? We have certain offers on our app, and they are specifically for our app customers. And we also give vouchers, and we run promo codes through which they can avail the discounts. Okay, so that is how we retain our customers. So if you compare it with Food Panda, you will find the best offers on our own platform. That's what actually Facebook taught me, and they told me that you don't have to have the best offers on Food Panda. You should gain control of your own customers through your own platform. So your app and your website has to be hyper, and I think that's what KFC is also doing.
Yeah.
This is something which everyone else is doing, and I think McDonald's is doing a great job these days. And even when you go to their outlet, they would ask you to download their app, and you will get certain points for it.
So if you were to ask me, we don't have a full-fledged loyalty program rolling out because I believe that we are already a very affordable brand, and to ensure loyalty, and and we proud
Agreed.
and we proudly state that we are a brand of masses. So if we were to unfold a loyalty program, it will have to have that detailing that how will we be catering to a big number on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But having said that, we do cater to loyalty in bits and pieces. For example, every 3 months we would send something to our top 100 customers, or somebody who's ordering above a ticket side.
Okay.
Every birthday or every anniversary we would send them something. So we have bits and pieces of loyalty integrated within our program, but not a full-fledged, like he said, that the reward points.
Yeah.
It's something on the cards that we're still considering, but I think the economic condition, and I think the buying power.
They're okay without
Free mein de do.
That's what he's saying.
We're loyal.
Okay, so yeah, one thing, like I want to share with everyone, like one of the most important thing is the customer retention. Again, I will give example of Food Panda. They do it really well. That's why I'm giving their examples. We don't do that well, so I don't want to give our examples, but they do exceptionally well. Like for example, if the customer is not happy, they have the data, they'll find out. Or for example, if they're not ordering since, for example, last 3 months, they'll give a voucher. Okay, order in 1 week. So if you have data, you can see how many customers you are actually retaining, because most of the restaurants, what I see, they see that there are many customers that are coming, but they are not coming consistently. So that is the biggest challenge for a restaurant, I believe, to be consistently good for with your product and with the customers as well. Because one time if you're good, second time if you're not, customer is gone. It's like our business is unforgivable business. It's one of the most difficult ones, I believe.
For sure.
Retention
I'd like
is
to share a learning here. I feel we're a nation of, we want instant gratification. I think we need to work a little bit for the loyalty programs, and for gaining certain points and then going back and checking what do we have in our wallet and so on and so forth. I feel for us, we are more accustomed to flash discounts and flash deals, and this much percentage off and that much percentage off. I feel loyalty is something that eventually has to be garnered and has to be catered to the way that Shahbaz had just mentioned, that we need to use our data to then manipulate the customers and get them to come back and increase our frequency. But unfortunately, in our, at least in my experience, I've seen that people would rather spend more and not necessarily go back and check, how many points do they have on a certain card and so on and so forth. Now maybe things are changing a little bit, and now it's easier also to run these programs because they're all digitally run. But I do feel that our customer wants it easy. They want instant sort of, giveaways and sweepstakes and sweeteners. So that's something that I think is slowly growing, but our customers still needs to get there to really embrace loyalty.
So basically, if more and more brands do sort of inculcate loyalty, though.
So Nando's had a program globally. It's called the Black Card, right?
Okay.
And it's very famous in the UK, and that's how they really got gained a lot of popularity there. We initiated that perhaps maybe 3 to 4 times at different intervals in different spaces in different regions. Every time we'd get one visit or we'll get the second visit, nobody would really get to the 4th visit. And there were times also we did have a loyalty card in place. Again, it also depends on the scalability of it and how are you marketing and what is your offer, and you need to continuously push it with different offers and sweeteners and so on and so forth. But I mean, we had corporate offices upstairs. They'd rather come down and spend double the money as opposed to really carrying that card and swiping it. So I feel that we're a little behind on that front, but we're eventually getting there.
I think that's a valid point, that I think the more brands sort of start doing it, the more people get used to it, and then loyalty would be more easier to sort of.
And we're looking for quick wins also.
Yeah.
So we want to have it right away. We can't wait for another 2 weeks or 10 days or the end of the month to get our 4th visit or 3rd visit. There are definitely loyal customers, and there are devout customers who would do that as well.
Yeah.
But again, in the case of maybe other brands, maybe not so much. In the case of Nando's, 70 to 80% is the loyal base. So it all depends on the brands as well, and of course the offers. That
For sure. I agree with that sort of. But so we talked about how technology is also a really important component of sort of putting in place these sort of loyalty offers and collecting data and all of that. And so my question for the panel would be that what area of the restaurant industry do you think is underserved when it comes to technology? Because more and more tech dependency is coming into this sort of space. But in Pakistan, where do you think that it's still underserved and there could be more improvement that you would want to see for your specific brand or other brands?
I think something what McDonald's has been doing these days, especially I saw it in UK. They have these booths.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not something really great for the job market. But they are somehow trying to reduce their labor costs, and they're introducing those booths. And even here, मतलब वो खुद आपको बेचारा स्टाफ जो है खुद सिखा रहा होता है कि how you can place an order from there. Actually, future में वो job जा चुकी होती है. So that is something missing out in Pakistan right now. I think the time should come that people should place their orders by themselves. And there shouldn't be any waiters as such, because even in Pakistan the margins are quite low now, and it's becoming day by day it's getting difficult to do business over here. So I think we need the help of the technology so that we have lesser staff and we can place our orders online or even through the booths or through the tablets, something like that.
Yahan, the problem is that if you are comparing from with us to the West, it's a huge difference. बहुत छोटी सी example है, हम यहाँ for example KFC खाते हैं, बाहर एक etiquette है कि आप ट्रे को वापस रखते हो, यहाँ पे ट्रे वहीं रहती है. Even I think in KFC here as well, the person from the kitchen serves on the table, right? But that's mostly not there outside. You have to take it from the counter. It's a counter service. But here it's a table service, right? That's a different. That dining I'm talking about. Over there it's not outside. It's not that very common. Second, I recently went to the US. वहाँ पे जो Starbucks है, तो वहाँ पे there's a different counter for the takeaways, carryouts. You don't have to go to the counter to collect it. You just have to order it from your app, and there's a separate counter. There's all the orders are there. You just have to grab and go. You don't have to pay with anyone anything. They know. आप कह सकते हैं यहाँ पे शऊर इन चीज़ों के लिए कम है. Obviously education की भी lacking है. There are lots of things. People still want आजकल जैसे inflation की वजह से we have to change our prices every 3 months, but people still want a print menu. नहीं होता तो कहते हैं यार हमें नहीं समझ में आता ये QR क्या होता है. There are lots of customers especially when we are targeting the mass audience, even KFC as well, right? So yeah, अभी हम 20 साल पीछे हैं. So we have to adopt a lot of things that are actually, we are far behind the technology that is running very rapidly already, highly outside.
But still, I would say with the number of people we are working with in a restaurant, it's too big. In BurgerLab, we have around 25 to 30 people, and if you see 5 guys in UK, I saw only 5.
You can't compare
5
it.
guys working in the kitchen, and they had more orders as compared to BurgerLab.
We have a store in Dubai,
They were running the entire restaurant.
Here we have an average, we have 5 to 6 people in the kitchen. In Dubai we have 2. I think people there's a huge difference with the salary as well, but I think people are more efficient outside. They use technology more. Like people are getting used. I think we have gone ahead with the technology, especially after COVID. I think we are 3 years. We have gone far further. Otherwise, people like before. I think, like for example, if I talk about Broadway, before COVID, like 85-90% of our orders used to be on the phone, but now I think 90% are on digital. I think COVID has changed a lot. People have started to use. They had to use it actually. It was very necessary.
Forced to use
So things have changed a lot because of COVID, especially the tech thing you're talking about.
I think rightly pointed out in terms of technology being embraced in KLI, it's much easier. But if you go to Shekhapura side, they would definitely want a menu. They wouldn't want to scan.
For sure.
In terms of us embracing technology, I think we are also taking baby steps in that direction because we've recently embraced the payment gateway options where the consumer has the choice of paying through whichever mode they want. We recently also launched a feature, pick and collect. So a customer has the power of a human-less contact. So you just place your order and they tell you the time of collection and you come and collect. But I think, the need for self-ordering kiosks and less human interaction needs to be there. But then there are two sides, because we also did an internal research which said that Gen Z millennials don't want any human contact as opposed to the older generation. They, unless and until, sometimes they get so frustrated with ordering online that they would call the call center guy and be like, "Hey, मैंने online order किया लेकिन अब आप घर पे पहुंचाएं और दोबारा से लें." So that is a challenge that we need to think of how to address.
I think there's still time. I feel that COVID has definitely, it has, increased the pace of us embracing technology and the customers embracing technology. But I do feel that we're still quite, away from, let's say, the kiosks that self-serve, although we have a few of them here as well. Again, between these metropolitan cities only, and not really necessarily going to Gujranwala or Shekhapura or wherever, there are people who would still not understand QR codes here. And throughout COVID, I think we were struggling throughout to make people understand how does it work, although it was running for a good 2 years. But people still wanted manual menus. They still wanted to look at, and that's just the way that our customers are and what our behavior is right now. So we need to also embrace that and go, in baby steps as well. And but I feel that there is definitely a need from a technology front for perhaps the e-commerce partners or the technology partners to incorporate ready-to-made sort of offers that you can plug and play within your systems, and you can use it as and when you need for your monthly cycles, for your sales, for your volumes, for different things. So I think that's something that we need to incorporate, and that's something that the customers are ready for. They want that kind of accessibility. They want to pay online. They're definitely now ready to do all of that since they have been exposed to COVID for a good 3 years. So I think there's room there, definitely. And of course, POS systems and e-commerce gateways, they can definitely have more development updates as opposed to what they have right now.
And I think with the advent of these different companies starting up in Pakistan as well, I think that sort of tech space is being filled up and can be used by the restaurant industry. And when we talk about tech, we always talk about AI. So I would like to ask a question on AI.
Ask ChatGPT.
ChatGPT wrote this question. So I would basically just like to ask that, what in your opinion, what do you think, how can, AI be used in the restaurant industry space, and where do you see it happening for if we talk about Pakistan specifically, how do you think, what's a good use case for AI in Pakistan in the restaurant industry?
Okay, I think I'll go first.
Okay.
So I think what AI can help us with regards to supply chain, it can really help in identifying trends. कि पिछली दफ़ा अगर ये season में इतनी sales रही थी, जो forecast projection हम उसकी बात करते हैं, it can really help in that. Also another thing that it can really help us in bot implementation. अब हमारे यहाँ ये चैलेंज होता है that even if we implement bots, so the mode of language or the mode of communication is English, whereas हमारे पास तो लोग सही उर्दू भी नहीं, बाज़ दफ़ा queries इस तरह की आ रही होती है, रोमन भी नहीं लिख पाते और उर्दू भी टूटी फूटी लिखते हैं. So with AI, with time, if you know, maybe it can detect Minglish and somehow gather that, so that also helps us decrease a little human efficiency on that side, and obviously it's going to be very prompt as opposed to a resource allocated to that. So that is an opportunity area that I feel, and in terms of forecast projection, it can really affect that. Yes.
If you talk about AI, I had a recent experience in San Francisco. Like, there was a McDonald's. There was a counter, but no human. They were ordering bots. Like, one is the kiosk, right?
Yeah.
Kiosks are here as well. But there was a bot there. You were actually talking to it and taking the order. He was basically placing your order. There was this front screen, and you were speaking to the bot, and he was placing the order for you. So yeah, it is becoming.
Yeah.
I think it's the present now. It's not even the future. So things are changing. Like, for example, here, if you see McDonald's, I have seen personally myself, even the kiosk, there's a person who is actually guiding how to place the order on the kiosk. Like, there's a huge difference. Like, if you talk about AI in Pakistan, it will take time. So yeah.
It is something that we have to look upon, and I think it's gonna be great for the entrepreneurs, whereas it's something very bad for the job market. A lot of degrees will become irrelevant, and people will have to switch to software engineering and some other courses, I would say. So I think the world is gonna change a lot in the next 5 years, and that is something that we have to see. There's a lot of gap for the people who are creating new softwares, and I think there's still a huge gap in the market for the people who are offering ERP systems. I haven't found one as great. I would say they have never been able to fulfill our needs, I would say. So I would say the AI is going to take over. They are already taking over the graphic designers, and you can even go and create your own menus and the graphic designs and everything that you want. So it is something really great for the entrepreneurs, I would say, but it's not something good for the job market. So people will have to change.
I think AI will really help the restaurant industry as we speak right now in terms of really marketing ourselves better, because a lot of these tools already do have some aspect of AI, and now they're going to get completely automated. So a lot of your patterns, your purchase behaviors, your engagements, your conversations, all of these things will be then AI monitored, and they'll be done for you, as opposed to you doing 5 different steps within each tool to, you know, put an ad out there or to monitor something or to evaluate something. AI is just going to grasp the patterns of it, and that's how it's going to work going forward. But I do feel that, again, you know, from an overall ecosystem point of view, there's still time for us to embrace that, and it'll have to get very desi for our bots to really understand AI the right way. Complaint management system, I believe, Bibi, if you actually look at it, and if you take it to maybe WhatsApp, so you take it to wherever, eventually they'll land up at the call centers, right? Somebody is behind the phone and somebody is answering that complaint, or, you know, they're addressing that way. So I think we're still away from that point, but we will eventually get there. But definitely in terms of response time, in terms of AI assisting in customer engagement and menu selection and all of those things can definitely take place. Patterns, predicting, you know, your marketing, making it better, making it more accurate, and doing it in a more precision targeting oriented way. I think that is what is going to help. But yeah, overall, I think there's still time.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. I think AI is slowly becoming a norm as well. And maybe the Pakistani market is not ready right now, but we don't know.
Get ready.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Well,
But
till 1997, we never had burgers when McDonald's came in. Mr. Burger तो चले बहुत छोटे level पे था, so McDonald's actually introduced burgers to us.
Yeah.
And now they are introducing those booths to us. So
Yeah.
I think in the next 5 years things are gonna change.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we're almost out of time. So before we move on to the Q&A section, so I just like to ask each panelist, like in 30 seconds, what advice would you give to, you know, other restaurant brands in Pakistan
What kind of advice?
when it comes to marketing?
Marketing.
Yes.
I'd like to go first here.
Okay.
I think the first thing that, especially the new setups and the restaurants, and that's a lesson that we learned in a hard way, but it's a lesson well learned. You need to believe in your product, you need to believe in your brand, you need to believe in your offering and your quality and your service. And I think a lot of restaurants were in the same sort of, you know, hot waters when COVID had arrived. And they didn't have their own delivery systems or their own e-commerce setups, their own platforms to own and call their own. And data we talked about very rightly, and that's really the backbone of what and how we are going to, you know, sort of navigate through this journey going forward and even now. So it's very important to take ownership of what you are doing and what your offer is and what you are built of. And that's something that, you know, no pandas or teddy bears or elephants can take away from you. Your customers are your own. They will eventually find you if your product offering is good enough. They will find you on your, you know, UAN number, or they'll find you through, you know, your website. They'll Google you, and that's the power that the brands have. That's what the aggregators do not have. So that's something that you need to own and take, you know, ownership of it and embrace that and take that forward. And then, of course, I mean, build your own systems and platforms strong enough, backed by data, backed by analytics, backed by metrics, and in the future AI, that they help you sustain that customer, retain that customer, and then you can, you know, offer that customer exactly what you're made of, which is your good quality offering and what your brand is made of, as opposed to, you know, having somebody else piggyback off of your legacy and taking it and presenting it as your own. So that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you, Faiza.
30 seconds, right?
Sure.
Wait over today.
It's okay.
So for the marketeers, I would really suggest to stop following the other brands. That's like people follow a lot here, like, you know, ये कर रहा है तो हम भी कर लेते हैं. भाई क्यों कर लेते हो यार? मतलब I think you should have your own idea, especially as a marketer. I always encourage people, even especially my agency and my marketing department, so to always generate ideas. Don't worry about if, for example, if it doesn't work, who cares? Actually, you actually created your own thing, right? You use your brain rather than using someone else and just copying that down, you know. So yeah, that's, I think, the most important thing, I believe. Yeah.
Good message.
I think you need to understand the why you're into this business, why you want to start this. So you have to do your research and then decide what are you going to do and how. That's about it.
Thank you.
I think be brave and be bold, and you know, try to make engaging content in terms of snackable content, because people usually try to keep it short but crisp, like 3 to 4 seconds. You should be able to feed in your message, because that is what you know, the human attention span has come down to. And maybe try and make everything clickable, because you want to be everywhere. And you know, in the end, I mean, just leave it to destiny.
Thank you everyone. So we're just going to open the floor for Q&A. So if anyone from the audience has any questions for our panel, you can raise your hands and we'll bring a mic that hopefully works.
Yes. And we have a first question. Please introduce yourself and the organization you represent.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Mohammad Nabil from Advanced Robotics. Thank you very much guys for your time. 2 सवाल है मेरे एक्चुअली. पहला डेटा से रिलेटेड है, क्योंकि डेटा पे आप लोगों ने बड़े खुलेआम कहा कि यार डेटा हम कलेक्ट कर लेते हैं, सारी चीज़ें कर लेते हैं. रिसेंटली माइक्रोसॉफ्ट के साथ हुआ कि उसके $20 मिलियन का उसको सू कर दिया. तो पाकिस्तान में आपको क्या लगता है कि आने वाले वक्तों में डेटा प्राइवेसी पॉलिसी इस कहाँ पे इम्प्लीमेंट होने वाली है और किस तरह से आप उससे बचेंगे? सेकेंड चीज़ ये है कि मार्केटिंग के पर्सपेक्टिव से जब हम बात करते हैं तो जो पाकिस्तानी ब्रांड हैं میں کمپیئر کر رہا ہوں انڈیا کے برانڈ سے کہ ہم جب مارکیٹنگ کی بات کرتے ہیں تو ہم فوکس کرتے ہیں ایڈس کے اوپر لیکن آرگینک جو مارکیٹنگ ہوتی ہے کہ مطلب آپ اپنا کانٹینٹ ہی اتنا انگیجنگ بنائیں کہ آپ کے پاس آرگینک ریچ ہو, وہ ہمارے برانڈس میں نظر نہیں آتی اتنی کمپیئر ٹو, کیونکہ انڈیا میں نے دیکھا ہے کہ ان کے اب برانڈ اس طرف زیادہ جا رہے ہیں. اوبیسلی مکس اینڈ میچ چلتا ہے لیکن ان کا فوکس اس طرف ہے, جبکہ پاکستانی برانڈ کا اتنا زیادہ فوکس نہیں ہے. تو دیز آر دا ٹو کوسچن.
So who would like to take these two questions?
دیکھیں آپ کا جو پہلا سوال تھا نا ڈیٹا کے حوالے سے, اس پہ پالیسی پہ تو مجھے بھی کچھ نہیں پتا ٹو بی آنیسٹ کہ پاکستانی گورنمنٹ کیا کرے گی. تو میں اس کا تو جواب یہی دوں گا کہ ڈیٹا بہت ضروری ہے اور اس کا کلیکٹ کرنے کے بہت سارے طریقے ہیں. تو اس پہ آپ جواب لینا چاہ رہے ہیں یا دوسری والے سوال کے جواب دوں؟ اچھا, دوسرا آپ کا دیکھیں ڈیٹا کلیکٹ کرنے کے میرے جو ابھی طریقے ہیں وہ میں آپ کو تھوڑا سا بتا دیتا ہوں, زیادہ ٹائم کھنچ جائے گا ورنہ. دیکھیں فیس بک جو ہے نا ابھی پاکستان کے لیے بہت اچھا ایک ٹول ہے, اور فیس بک میں آپ کو وہ خود ٹریننگ بھی دیتے ہیں اور آپ آن لائن جا کے بھی ٹریننگ بہت ساری چیزوں کی لے سکتے ہیں. تو وہ جو آپ کو آن لائن آپ کو ان کے مارکیٹنگ ایکسپرٹس ٹریننگ دیتے ہیں, آپ ان سے ضرور لیں اور ان سے سیکھیں. تھوڑا اپنا بھی, جیسے شہباز کہہ رہا تھا کہ اپنا بھی دماغ استعمال کریں اور اس کو یوز کرتے ہوئے آپ ان سے ایڈز لگائیں گے تو وہ ایڈز آپ سے طرح طرح کے لگواتے ہیں جس سے آپ کی ڈیٹا کلیکشن اچھی ہو جاتی ہے. فار ایگزامپل وہ آپ سے ایک اوپن آڈینس کے ایڈز لگوائیں گے, براڈ آڈینس آپ اس میں سے ٹارگٹ کر رہے ہوں گے. براڈ کا مطلب ہوتا ہے کہ وہ سب کو ٹارگٹ کر رہا ہوگا, ٹھیک ہے. بیک اینڈ سے آپ کی جو بھی ویب سائٹ ہوگی آپ کا, یا ویب سائٹ ہوگی یا ایپ ہوگی, وہ اس سے پکسل کے تھرو اٹیچ ہوئی ہوئی ہوگی, ٹھیک ہے. جو پکسل ہے وہ ان کا سارٹ آف اے آئی ہے, ٹھیک ہے. اس میں وہ ڈیٹا جانا شروع ہو جائے گا. پھر کچھ عرصے کے بعد آپ اس میں لک الائک اس کی آڈینسز بنا لیں, ٹھیک ہے. آپ لک الائک بنائیں گے, وہ جن آڈینسز سے آپ کا رسپانس اچھا آ رہا تھا وہ ان آڈینسز کے جیسے لوگوں کو ٹارگٹ کرنا شروع کر دے گا. پھر وہاں سے بھی آپ کی کلیکشن شروع ہو جائے گی. پھر کچھ عرصے کے بعد آپ کے پاس ایک ڈیٹا کلیکٹ ہو جائے گا. آپ اپنے ویب سائٹ وزٹرز کو ٹارگٹ کرنا شروع کر دیں, ایک بجٹ اس پہ لگا دیں, ان کو بھی ٹارگٹ ہوتا رہے گا. پھر ایک آپ آڈینس بنا سکتے ہیں کہ ایکسکلوڈ دی آڈینس وچ آئی آلریڈی ہیو, مجھے اور نئے لا کے دو. اس طرح کی بھی آڈینس بنا سکتے ہیں, ٹھیک ہے. تو دے آر نیومرس ویز. اس کے بعد پھر آپ کچھ لوگوں کو بولیں گے کہ بھائی اب مجھے ویب ٹریفک لا کے دو, وہ اس میں فیس بک کو بولیں گے وہ ویب ٹریفک لا کے دے گا. تو اس طرح کہ پورا آپ کا بنتا جائے گا. اس طرح آپ کا ایک ڈیٹا ڈریون سسٹم کریٹ ہو جائے گا. ادر ویز آر آبویسلی کہ آپ, اب ہمارا تو ریسٹورینٹ ہے, آپ کا بزنس الگ ہے, تو اس میں جو ہے ہم لوگ تو فیڈ بیک کے تھرو لیتے ہیں ڈیٹا, یا آپ کا کوئی آپ فلائر اس کو ایسا سینڈ کر دیتے ہیں کہ جس کے تھرو وہ جب اس کو اویل کرے تو ہمارے پاس ڈیٹا آ جائے, یا پھر جب بھی وہ آرڈر کرے تو اس کا ڈیٹا آ جائے. تو ڈیٹا کی بات آ گئی. دوسرا آپ نے سوال کیا کیا تھا؟
انڈیا
آرگینک ورسز پیڈ ایڈورٹائزنگ.
نہیں, وہ کہہ رہے تھے کہ ہم لوگ بس صرف ایڈس چلا دیتے ہیں اور اس کا کوئی سر پیڈ نہیں ہوتا.
نہیں, وہ کہہ رہے تھے کہ آرگینک ایڈس وہاں زیادہ چلتے ہیں, یہاں لوگ ایڈس جو ہیں وہ پیسے دے کے زیادہ چلا رہے ہوتے ہیں.
اچھا ہاں, دیکھیں اس میں جو ہے نا ڈپینڈ کرتا ہے آپ کا مقصد کیا ہے کرنے کا. اب فار ایگزامپل اب مجھے کوئی انگیجمنٹ چاہیے, ٹھیک ہے, سوشل میڈیا میں, تو میں کوئی ابھی آج کل کوئی آئی تھنک کچھ ٹرینڈ کر رہا ہے کہ میں 4 دفعہ کروں یہ تو یہ ہو جائے گا, کچھ سم تھنگ لائک دیٹ. تو اگر میں BurgerLab سے اس طرح کا پوسٹ کروں گا نا کوئی فنی سا, تو اس پہ آپ کو بہت انگیجمنٹ ملے گی, لوگ شیئر کریں گے, یا پھر آپ اس کے اوپر کوئی کانٹیسٹ رکھ دیں تو بہت شیئر کریں گے. لیکن جو ایڈ, یا فار ایگزامپل آپ نے کوئی DVC بنایا ہے اور وہ بہت ہیومرس ہے اور لوگوں کو بہت پسند آ رہا ہے, ابھی ہمارا کوئی DVC آیا تھا اس پہ کوئی 200 شیئر ہو بھی گئے تھے, تو آٹومیٹکلی اس پہ کانٹینٹ اتنا اچھا ہوتا ہے کہ شیئر ہو جاتا ہے. لیکن اب اتنی مارکیٹ سیچوریٹ ہو گئی ہے کہ اگر میں یہ بولوں کہ میں کوئی ڈیل پوسٹ کر رہا ہوں اور اس کا آرٹ ورک بہت اچھا ہو تو وہ شیئربل ہوگا, تو دیٹس ناٹ پاسبل. اب فیس بک سے جب آپ کو کنورژنس چاہیے ہوتے ہیں تو کنورژنس وانٹ آپ کو خود آپ چیٹ GPT سے بھی پوچھیں گے نا تو وہ یہی بتائے گا کہ ہیو سم سرٹن آفرز فار دا کنورژنس, یا کامبوز بنا لو یا اس طرح کی چیزیں کر لو. تو ہاں, تو اس میں آپ کو پیسے لگانے پڑتے ہیں کہ وہ دکھایا جاتا ہے, وہ ڈھونڈتا رہتا ہے کسٹمر. تو بہت لمبی بات ہو جائے گی, تو آئی تھنک اتنا آپ کے لیے کافی ہوگا.
آئی تھنک آپ انڈیا کی مارکیٹ سے آئی تھنک ہمیں کمپیئر نہیں کرنا چاہیے. ان کا انٹرنیشنل ایکسپوجر ہم سے بہت آگے ہے. ہم لوگوں کا اتنا ایکسپوجر نہیں ہے اوور آل, ملک کا بھی اور برانڈس کا بھی. تو وہاں کے اگر آپ ایڈس دیکھو تو مجھے یاد ہے بچپن سے دیر ایڈز ور آلویز ٹاپ ناچ, لائک یو نو آپ ٹی وی پہ بھی دیکھتے تھے تو مطلب اچھے ایڈ ہوتے تھے, انگیجمنٹ. تو وہی چیز اب ڈیجیٹل میں بھی آ گئی ہے, تو وی آر اسٹل بیہائنڈ دیم. سو آئی تھنک اٹس ناٹ دا رائٹ تھنگ ٹو کمپیئر ود دیم, ٹو بی آنیسٹ اٹس ناٹ دا رائٹ تھنگ.
نہیں, لیکن یہ ہے کہ ہمیں اپنی جو ایجنسیز ہیں ہماری, ان کو ایڈس کانٹینٹ کو بہتر کرنے کی بہت ضرورت ہے. ضروری نہیں ہوتا کہ اس کی پروڈکشن بہت اچھی ہو, اگر اس کا کانٹینٹ بھی اچھا ہو, اس میں ایکٹنگ اچھی ہو, اس میں ہیومر اچھا ہو, تو ایکسیپٹنس آ جاتی ہے. اب جیسے وہ دانش علی ہے, وہ صرف موبائل سے بتاتا ہے کہ میں بناتا ہوں ویڈیوز, اور وہ کتنا مشہور ہو گیا.
آئی تھنک ڈیٹا کی جو آپ نے بات کی ہے نا, ڈیٹا جو جس طرح سے ہم لے رہے ہیں یا لیا جاتا ہے, a lot of our customers are coming to our website and putting their number there because that's a requirement there. When they're coming to our stalls, wherever it is that we're doing an activation, they're filling out a form and that's done with their consent. Even جب ہم SMS بھیجتے ہیں تو پی ٹی اے کے اوپر ریگولیٹری ہمارے پر اس کے اوپر ریسٹرکشنز ہیں کہ we cannot send an SMS after a certain time, and if the customer feels that it's a spam, so then they also block you. So they have that right. So ہر SMS کے نیچے ایک ڈائریکٹوریل انسٹرکشن جا رہی ہوتی ہے کسٹمر کو, اینڈ دے کین آپٹ آؤٹ آف دیٹ ایس ایم ایس. سو پروموشنل ایس ایم ایسز بہت دفعہ لوگ آپٹ آؤٹ بھی کر دیتے ہیں, وچ از سم تھنگ دیٹ وی آر ویری کانشیس آف, کہ ہم ان کو بالکل اسپیم نہ کر دیں, ہفتے میں 4 دفعہ ایس ایم ایس نہ چلے جائیں, مطلب all of those things. So they're coming to different vehicles and different modes of communication that they're using for our brand. So they are giving that data. So that is consensual. That is not something that we're taking from somewhere and using it. And jaise Khizer ne baat ki, then all of these other platforms are helping us create those lookalike audiences and create that kind of database that then we can target and retarget and then use at a later stage. So I don't think usme the privacy law to again wo قبل از وقت ہے کہ وہ کب ہوگا کیا ہوگا, بٹ اٹس اسٹل یٹ ٹو بی سین. بٹ دیز آر آل کوشر ویز آف گیٹنگ ڈیٹا.
B2B کے لیے گوگل سرچ ایڈس بھی اچھے ہوتے ہیں, ریسٹورینٹس کے لیے اتنا نہیں ہے, لیکن B2B کے لیے اچھے ہوتے ہیں.
Okay.
All right, we have one more question over here.
Assalamu alaikum ji, my name is Abuzar Zaidi and I am from Unity Foods. My question is basically for all of you, but firstly like Blinko کہ اس سے بھی میں پرسپیکٹو سے اس پہ بات ہی کرنا چاہوں گا کہ اف یو ٹاک اباؤٹ پاکستان اور اسپیشلی فار کراچی, انفیکٹ تو کراچی میں لوگوں کی انٹرٹینمنٹ جو ہے وہ فوڈ ہے, اینڈ ہم ڈیجیٹل کی طرف لوگوں کو فوکس کرنے کی, ڈیجیٹل کی طرف لوگوں کو کنورٹ کرنے کی جب بات کرتے ہیں تو لوگوں کا جو کانسیپٹ ہوتا ہے وہ باہر جانا یا فوڈ کے لیے باہر جانا, وہی ایک تفریح ہے, انٹرٹینمنٹ جس کو ہم بولتے ہیں. تو واٹ ڈو یو پیپل تھنک کہ ہمارے لوگ جو ہے وہ, ہم جیسے کے ایف سی کی بات کرتے ہیں, کے ایف سی از آلموسٹ لائک 30-40 برانچز ان کراچی اونلی اف یو ٹاک اباؤٹ. اور میں بھی کچھ پچھلے دنوں ایک پڑھ رہا تھا فیس بک پہ کہ لاہور میں فیز 6 میں ایک آؤٹ لیٹ کے ایف سی کا جو ہے وہ اتنی سیل کر رہا تھا کہ ایک بندے نے اس پہ کامنٹ ڈالا ہوا تھا کہ اٹ کین پے فرسٹ انسٹالمنٹ آف IMF تھرو لائک. تو میرا پوائنٹ اس پہ یہ تھا کہ ڈیجیٹل پہ شاید لوگ اس لیے بھی کنورٹ نہیں ہو پا رہے ہیں کہ ہمارے پاس جو بیک اینڈ مارٹر کا ایک وہ ہے جس پہ لوگ آؤٹ آف دا ہوم جا کے, کیونکہ انٹرٹینمنٹ کا ایک فیکٹر وہیں پر ہی. تو آپ لوگ ریسٹورینٹس کے اس میں آپ لوگوں کو شاید انٹائز کرنے کے لیے وہ جو ویلیو ایڈڈ سروس کی ہم بات کرتے ہیں یا لوائلٹی پروگرامس کی بات کرتے ہیں, جیسے لائک کوسٹا کافی یا ہم بات کرتے ہیں دوسرے جو ہمارے پاس, ان لوگوں نے جو ہے وہ کافی کا ایک پورا ایک وہ اپنا بنا لیا کہ گفٹ کارڈز اور وہ ساری چیزیں لیتے ہوئے. تو وائی ڈونٹ یو پیپل لائک فوکس آن دیٹ تھنگ کہ لوگ تھوڑا ڈیجیٹل کے اوپر زیادہ فوکس کریں رادر دین گوئنگ ٹو دا آؤٹ لیٹس. اور کیونکہ آج کل تو ٹریفک اور باقی چیزیں جو ہیں وہ بہت زیادہ ایک ویسی پینفل اور ہیکٹک ہو گیا. تھینک یو.
تھینک یو بزر, گریٹ کویشچن. آئی تھنک بلنکو کی سائڈ سے آئی ول ٹیک دس, نیہا اگر اجازت ہو. صحیح ہے, تھینک یو. سو ہم نے ہماری جرنی میں نا کیا کہتے ہیں اسٹارٹ ڈلیوری سے ہوئی تھی, لیکن ناؤ ڈائن ان اینڈ ٹیک اوے از اے بگ پارٹ آف اٹ. سو ود ان دا سیم ایپ آپ یہ بھی چوز کر سکتے ہو کہ میں نے ڈائن ان کرنا ہے. سو اگر آپ کسی برانچ پہ جا رہے ہیں, سو یو کین اوپن دی ایپ, place a dine-in order. By the time you get there in 30 minutes, your order will be ready. So we are working on these innovations. Plus we've launched QR ordering, جو کہ in-store experience کو enhance کر رہا ہے. صحیح ہے. ڈلیوری آرڈرس, کال سینٹر آرڈرس کی آپ کے پاس ڈیٹا آ رہی تھی, لیکن ڈائن ان آرڈرس کی آپ کے پاس کبھی بھی ڈیٹا نہیں آ رہی تھی. کوئی لیگیسی پاس یہ ڈیٹا نہیں کیپچر کر رہا تھا. تو ہم نے اب وہ کیپچر بھی کرنا شروع کر دیا ہے. اینڈ وی ٹرائنگ ٹو مرج بوتھ دا آف لائن اینڈ آن لائن ورلڈس ٹوگیدر, تاکہ جو ڈیٹا سیٹ ہے وہ صرف ڈلیوری تک ایکسکلوسیو نہ رہے, وہ آپ کے جتنے بھی کسٹمر بیس ہے اس کو کیا کہتے ہیں یونانیمسلی سرو کرے. دوسرا آپ کا ایک پوائنٹ تھا, کیا کہتے ہیں وہ, سوری دوسرا پوائنٹ ایسا وہ انگیجمنٹ, کیا مطلب انٹرٹینمنٹ اور وہ صحیح ہے. تو اس میں نا اب یہی ڈیٹا سے بھی سامنے آتا ہے کہ مطلب آئی ایم شیور KFC, کیا کہتے ہیں BurgerLab, براڈوے, نینڈوز وڈ آل اگری کہ کافی زیادہ آپ کے یوزرز ایسے ہیں جو آفس میں ہی صرف ڈلیوری آرڈر کرتے ہیں. صحیح ہے. سو سنگل سرونگ 1 person ایٹ لنچ ٹائم. کافی زیادہ ایسے ہیں ورکنگ پروفیشنل جو مطلب رات کو ڈنر کر لیتے ہیں, رائٹ. سو ان کے لیے وہ مطلب اٹس اٹس ایڈنگ اے لاٹ آف ویلیو ٹو دیئر لائفس. ٹھیک ہے, وہ باہر جا کے انٹرٹینمنٹ پرپسز فیملی کے لیے نہیں جا رہے, لیکن اٹ از آلسو سرونگ اے ویری امپورٹنٹ سیگمنٹ. صحیح ہے. مطلب سنگل ورکنگ کلاس پیپل وچ میک اپ کیا کہتے ہیں ڈیسنٹ پرپورشن اف یو لک ایٹ دا انٹائر پاپولیشن, رائٹ. اب اس پہ لو فار دا پینلسٹ ٹو ایکسپینڈ.
تھوڑا سا اس پہ بتا دیتا ہوں کہ دیکھیں ریسٹورینٹ ٹو ریسٹورینٹ ڈفر کرتی ہے یہ چیز جو آپ بات کر رہے تھے کہ کیوں ڈیجیٹلی ضرورت ہے, کہ جب آلریڈی ہماری ایک سورس آف انٹرٹینمنٹ فوڈ ہی ہے, کیونکہ ہر ریسٹورینٹ کا الگ ہے. اب جیسے باربیکیو ٹو نائٹ جو ہے نارملی جا کے لوگ انجوائے کرتے ہیں کھانا, تو اس کا اتنا زیادہ آئی ڈونٹ تھنک شیئر ہوگا ڈلیوری کا, ایک نارمل سا ہوگا. اور براڈ وے کا BurgerLab سے بھی زیادہ ڈلیوری کا شیئر ہوگا. ہمارا جو ہے وہ 60-40 چل رہا ہوتا ہے. کہیں کہیں ہمارے 60% ڈائننگ ٹیک اوے ہے, 40% ڈلیوری, اور کہیں کہیں 60% ہماری ڈلیوری ہے. تو اٹ ویریز انڈسٹری ٹو انڈسٹری, مطلب کیٹیگری وائز. ریسٹورینٹ میں بھی آپ ساری ریسٹورینٹس کو ایک اس میں نہیں لے سکتے. اب جیسے زینڈرز بھی جا کے مزہ آتا ہے زیادہ, ٹھیک ہے, تو لیکن لوگ ڈلیوری بھی کرتے ہیں, تو اس کے لیے آپ کا ایک ڈیجیٹل پریزنس, ایک آپ کا پلیٹ فارم وغیرہ سب اچھا ہونا چاہیے تاکہ یو کین گیٹ انکریمنٹل سے. That's about it.
I'd like to add something. Sorry, Sana. So, آپ نے بات کی نا brick and mortar ہمارا ایک بہت ماڈل ہے, and that's how we want to entertain ourselves, and you know we have only a few forms of recreation. Definitely ہے ہمارے پاس ابھی بھی بہت کم ہے. There's dearth of recreational activities, but I think COVID has changed a lot of things for us as well. And again, as Khizer said, کہ it depends from brand to brand and even restaurant to restaurant کہ وہ کہاں پر located and what do people want from that profile over there. So convenience and accessibility is definitely one of the needs, and a need which needs to be catered to now, as opposed to what it used to be before. ہمارا ایک پروڈکٹ ہے نانڈوز کا, اٹس کالڈ این اسپیٹاڈا. اٹ کمز آن این ہینگنگ سکیور. اٹس آل اباؤٹ دا پریزنٹیشن, رائٹ. اینڈ ویو ٹرائی ٹو ٹیک اٹ اوے فرام دا ٹیک اوے ماڈل, اینڈ ویو ٹرائی ٹو ٹیک اٹ اوے فرام دا ڈلیوری ایز ویل, بیکاز وی فیل دیٹ اٹ ڈزنٹ سرو دا پرپز, بیکاز اٹس اے تھیٹر پریزنٹیشن, رائٹ. تھیٹریکل ایک پروڈکٹ کی پریزنٹیشن ہے, وہ آتا ہے جس طرح سے, اینڈ دیٹس مزہ بیٹھ کے اس کو کھانے میں دیکھنے میں اس طرح سے. بٹ پیپل وانٹڈ at their homes and their offices boxed up, rice in a different box and the chicken in a different box, and they're okay with it. And we have a sizable portion of it that people are ordering. So it all comes down to convenience and accessibility and what the people want. And also, as I said, COVID has changed so much, even for casual dine-in restaurants, which are generally just known for their dine-in experience and not their delivery. And it's not an easy product to have, you know. It's not, everybody's not a pizza brand or a burger brand that's easy to box and take away and package and remain hot as well and give the best quality. So people want that convenience, and they're okay with it. They're okay with a compromised product coming to them because that's what they want. So I think it all depends on what the customer also want, and preferences are definitely changing now. So that's why we're catering more towards the digital side.
And adding on to why brands really need to be digitally and socially active is because اگر دیکھیں دن پہ ہمارا زیادہ ٹائم جو ہے اسکرین ٹائم پہ ہی گزرتا ہے, کبھی فون میں یا لیپ ٹاپ پہ. تو اگر آپ کریویبلی, جیسے ہم بولتے ہیں یوز آف کریویبل امیجری, تو اس سے کیا ہوتا ہے کہ آپ کو بھوک لگتی ہے, اینڈ یو نو it helps in decision making. Also, like all the other panelists mentioned, that the whole plan of rolling out a loyalty is, or having self ordering kiosk is to enhance that user experience. کہ اگر میں آؤٹلیٹ پہ گیا ہوں اپنی فیملی کے ساتھ اینڈ بہت زیادہ رش ہے, سو اف آئی ہیو این آرڈرنگ کیوسک اور آئی ہیو ایکس اماؤنٹ آف لوئلٹی پوائنٹس آن مائی ایپ, تو مجھے ایکس اماؤنٹ آف ڈسکاؤنٹ مل جاتا ہے. سو ان دی اینڈ دا گول از ٹو میک یور کنزیومر ہیپی. تو اسی لیے آئی تھنک دیر آن لائن اینڈ آف لائن آر سم واٹ انٹر کنیکٹیڈ ناؤ.
اچھا, آپ نے ایک بات کی کہ کراچی میں سب سے زیادہ انٹرٹینمنٹ صرف کھانا ہی ہے. بالکل ہے. آئی تھنک دنیا میں بہت سارے ملک ہیں جہاں کھانا از دا موسٹ امپورٹنٹ تھنگ فار لائک پیپل. انٹرٹینمنٹ کے علاوہ آپ کی اگر آپ ڈیجیٹل کی بات کرتے ہیں تو ڈیجیٹل, جیسے انہوں نے بھی کہا کہ پہلے بیہیویئر ڈفرینٹ تھا کنزیومر کا, آج ڈفرینٹ ہے. آج جب وہ ہر وقت فون پہ پیزاز اور برگرز اچھی اچھی تصویریں دیکھ رہا ہوتا ہے اور پھر لوگوں سے ریویوز دیکھ رہا ہوتا ہے اور ویڈیوز دیکھ رہا ہوتا ہے, تو وہ آٹومیٹکلی اس کی ہنگر, اس کی پرچیزنگ بڑھ جاتی ہے. اچھے اچھے کپڑے دیکھ رہا ہوتا ہے. لائک پورا پرچیزنگ پیٹرن ہی چینج ہو گیا ہے, اسپیشلی آفٹر دا فون اینڈ 4G اینڈ 5G. تو پیٹرنس میں بہت فرق آ گیا ہے. پہلے آپ گھر میں ایک دفعہ باہر کھانا آتا تھا, اب روز آتا ہے. مجھے فوڈ پینڈا بتا رہے تھے کہ ان کے جو گروتھ آئی ہے اسپیشلی باہر, جیسے دے ور ٹیلنگ کہ ایون سائر بھائی واز آلسو ٹیلنگ می ایون ان سعودی آئی تھنک ہفتے میں دے لائک این ایوریج کسٹمر پر ڈے آرڈرز اراؤنڈ 2 orders a day like online compared to Pakistan which is like around 2 orders a week. So like ابھی بھی ہم بہت پیچھے ہیں ڈیجیٹلی, ابھی تو بہت ہے ٹائم وہاں تک پہنچنے میں.
میرے خیال سے میں نے اپنی انسائٹ سے کی 35 تک کے لوگ جو ہے آرڈر پلیس کر رہے ہیں زیادہ تر آن لائن, اس سے اوپر زیادہ ریئیکشن نہیں آتا.
نہیں, ایڈلٹس کو بھی ہم نے اب کیپچر کرنا ہے آہستہ آہستہ. آئی تھنک ویل ہیو ون لاسٹ کوشچن فرام شیزا فرام ڈنکن اینڈ دین ویل اوپن دا فلور فار نیٹورکنگ اینڈ کیا کہتے ہیں اسنیکس. ہنگر کی بات کی تھی شہباز بھائی نے, تو آئی تھنک آڈینس بھی کافی ہنگری ہوگی ہوگی.
ہیلو, دس از شیزا فرام ڈنکن. اچھا, میرا سوال یہ کہ ہم لوگ جب ای کامرس کی سیلس انکریز کرنے کی بات کرتے ہیں, سو لائک واٹس دا روڈ میپ آف دس. Obviously we know کہ ہمیں سروسز اچھی کرنی چاہیے, بٹ دا روڈ میپ کے پہلے ہمیں سروسز پہ کام کرنا ہے, دین فوڈ کوالٹی اینڈ دین کسٹمر. سو مجھے جسٹ ایک روڈ میپ آپ لوگ سے معلوم کرنا تھا, بیکاز آئی ریئلی لائک دا KFC ویب سائٹ. ایون آئی ہیڈ KFC ان دا لنچ ٹوڈے, اور آج ہی ہم لوگ KFC کی ویب سائٹ پہ بات کر رہے تھے, اینڈ اس لیے آئی واز امپریسڈ اینڈ اسپیشلی آسک کوشچن فرام یو.
Thank you so much for liking the website. We launched it today only, the new one. So اس میں 2 طریقے ہوتے ہیں. First you need to identify and understand your customer audience base جس کو آپ ایڈریس کرنا چاہ رہے ہیں. For example, a product like donut, if I was to market it, then maybe I would pair it with the tea, because usually ہمارے یہاں رواج ہے جیسے 4 to 5 high tea میں آپ کھاتے ہیں یا after dinner. So you need to push your product during those peak hours. And ہر برانڈ کے لیے ویری کرتا ہے. فوڈ برانڈس کے لیے what time of the day is most lucrative for you, جہاں پہ آپ مائنڈ بنانا شروع کر دیں. So if you want somebody to purchase within the window of 4 to 5, تو آپ جو ہے مے بی اس کو 3 بجے سے یا 2 بجے سے اپنا ایڈ دکھانا شروع کر دیں, تاکہ جب ہائی ٹی کا ٹائم آئے so they can place that order. Also in terms of how do you get more people on the website, I think there are a lot of contributing factors. Number one, how user friendly your website is. Also load time is one of the key factors جو ہم نے بھی کافی ایکسپیریمنٹ کر کے دیکھا ہے. جتنی جلدی آپ کی ویب سائٹ اور ایزلی لوڈ ہوتی ہے نا, اتنا زیادہ آپ کا کسٹمر جو ہے وہ خوشی خوشی آرڈر پلیس کرتا ہے. تو یہ ساری چیزیں آپ کو تھوڑا سا ود رسپیکٹ ٹو یور آڈینس یو ہیو ٹو انڈرسٹینڈ, اینڈ دین یو آلسو ہیو ٹو شو دیم ایڈس ود لائک ڈفرینٹ نیڈس. کہ ایک تو آپ اپنی برانڈ اویئرنیس کی ایمبٹ میں ان کو ایڈس دکھائیں, دین شو دیم ایڈس ود جسٹ اے کنورژن ماڈل. جس کا گول ہی ہو ٹو گیٹ مور اینڈ مور پیپل آن دا ویب سائٹ, اینڈ obviously offers and discounted deals definitely help.
صحیح ہو گیا, تھینک یو. ایک کافی ٹائم تو پورا ہو گیا تھا, ایک کافی انٹرسٹنگ سوال آیا کوچیز کی طرف سے. آئی تھنک ٹو آل آف یو, مے بی خضر بھائی آپ اگر لیڈ لے لیں اس میں, کہ گورنمنٹ اب شاپس کو 8 بجے 10 بجے بند کرنے کے انیشیٹوز لے رہے ہیں. سو از دس اے پش دیٹ وی ول سی ٹوورڈز اڈاپٹنگ ڈیجیٹل؟ واٹس یور ٹیک آن دس؟
بری خبریں نہ بتایا کریں ریسٹورینٹ والوں کو.
اس میں
فوڈ کے لیے نہیں ہے، بس لاہور میں جیسے ہم نے نوٹ کیا ابھی تھوڑی دیر پہلے 10 بجے برانچز بند ہو رہی تھی، مطلب برانچز 11 بجے ڈائن ان کے لیے بند ہو رہی ہیں، اور کیا کہتے ہیں ڈلیوری پھر بھی رات کو 2-3 بجے تک چل رہی ہے.
کووڈ کا
1 گھنٹے کا ڈفرینس ہے. 11 بجے ڈائننگ بند ہو رہے ہیں، 12 پہ ڈلیوری بند ہو رہے ہیں. تو اس میں آپ ڈیجیٹل میں کیا کر سکتے ہو؟ 1 گھنٹے کا تو ڈفرینس ہے. لائک واٹ کین یو ڈو؟ لائک اف دی ریسٹورینٹ از کلوز تو آپ ڈیجیٹلی اس کو کیا کر سکتے ہیں؟ ایسا تو کر نہیں سکتے کہ گھر پہ 11 بجے سے پہلے آرڈر پہنچا دیں.
ٹائمنگ میں تو واقعی کچھ نہیں کر سکتے. ایک ڈنر ٹائم اگر ہے تو وہ ہے. اب وہ اٹ ہیز ٹو بی اوور 11. مطلب اگر ٹائم 11 سے نیچے ہوگا تو سیلس تو گریں گی، اس میں کچھ آپ نہیں کر سکتے. اور ڈیجیٹلی آبویسلی ہم لوگ تو آلریڈی ہر وقت ہی بوسٹ پہ ہوتے ہیں اور ہر وقت ہی انویسٹ کر رہے ہوتے ہیں آن لائن میں. تو اس سے ہوگا یہ کہ زیادہ کاسٹ پر پرچیز کم ہو جائے گا. موسٹ اینڈ پیپل فرام باربیکیو ٹو نائٹ، یا مطلب دا کسٹمرز آف باربیکیو ٹو نائٹ، زینڈرز، یا پھر آپ کے جو بھی کولاچی اس طرح کے ریسٹورینٹس ہیں، وہ زیادہ پھر پیزا اور فاسٹ فوڈ کھانا شروع کر دیتے ہیں، جیسے کووڈ میں ایسے ہی ہوا تھا. لیکن اٹ از سم تھنگ دیٹ آئی وڈ ناٹ سے کہ یار یہ کوئی بہت اچھی بات ہے، لیکن ہوگا ایسے.
آلرائٹ، تھینک یو. چلیں آئی تھنک لیٹس اوپن دا فلور فار کیا کہتے ہیں اسنیکس، یمی ڈیلیشیس اسنیکس. کافی بات ہوگی. تھینک یو سو مچ. اٹ واز اے ونڈرفل کیا کہتے ہیں ایونٹ.
Thanks a lot for listening to us, and to be honest, we all are learning. And
سو ابھی بات چیت جاری رہے گی لیکن 1-on-1 جاری رہے گی. سو یو آر آل ویلکم ٹو آسک کوسچنز بٹوین دا پینلسٹ. ہم نے ایک پروڈکٹ ریویل بھی کیا ہے، سو ہم اس کی ویڈیو ابھی لگا رہے ہیں. سو وائل یو آر ٹاکنگ اینڈ نیٹ ورکنگ اینڈ ایٹنگ اسنیکس، ہم ول بی انویلنگ آور نیو ایپس. آپ کسی بھی بلنک ریپرزینٹیو کے پاس جا کے ان کے ڈیمو فرسٹ ہینڈ دیکھ سکتے ہیں. ہمارا ایک اے آئی بیسڈ آرڈرنگ ماڈیول بھی ہے گرو یور آرڈرس کے نام سے. سو یہ ساری ویڈیوز ہم لگا رہے ہیں وائل یو آر ہیونگ snacks, while you're networking with everyone. You can reach out to anyone at Blink and find out more about these exciting new launches.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, you guys, for being a part of this.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.